Luca Nation.
Look at you.
It's maybe since like our first month was I looking forward to an episode as much as tonight's.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be monumental. I
Wow,
think it's
really?
going to be one you guys listen to multiple times. I think it's going to be a record breaker, and I'm just so looking forward to being here with you guys. I'm so looking forward to being here with my co-host. It's the first time we're able to kind of back in our element. Cage is back from holiday, back from vacation. National Treasure series is basically done. We'll probably air one or two. I think we still have to air Eddie from Investicard, but all the series is done. We're into September. Sports are around the corner, and you guys are hopping on here to have some fun, learn a few things, catch up with us, and maybe get a play 2-3 from what we're looking at PWCC. So without further ado, man, my mind is spinning because I was at the Highline show today in Miami. Kudos to those guys.
Talk about that a little bit. You decided, hey, I'm in Florida. I might as well give it a shot. I might as well see what the Florida shows are like. So give me kind of like a 2-minute, give me the Florida show. And, what was that about? And how was it by comparison?
I'll be candid with you guys. Like, a lot of you guys know what I'm about. I love the podcast. I'm a homebody by nature. So, like, even getting out, it's like, all right, like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm getting out of my shell. People don't realize that. We're big talkers, Cage and I. But we love being home. So, yeah, I was like, I'm going to go from the get, man. They say first impressions are important. Mm-hmm. Last impressions are important. Mm-hmm. We never talk about both. And I got to tell you.
Uh-oh. You get a message right in the middle.
Yeah, do not disturb me ever again.
Oh, I can only imagine who it is.
Last impressions.
Yeah.
From the second you get there, man, it matters how you're greeted. And when you're greeted, it doesn't matter if you're Andrew or anybody else. If the person at the door that's greeting you of a show makes you feel like you're wanted, you're welcome, it's going to be a good time. That's super important. And then when you're leaving, the same thing. And that was the vibe there, man. They set up, it's a father-son duo with a best buddy, right? Like these are all high school friends that set up the show. And the hospitality and the warmth was really felt. So that was number one. I'll pause there. Cage is distracted. Oh, my God.
See how that gets just tossed? It just gets tossed. Dinner just gets tossed. Look at that. Oh.
They say they did studies. What makes people successful and what makes people not? And the thing that they found was it wasn't all the things that you guys were thinking. It's the ability to delay gratification.
No, negative.
Did you know where I was going with that?
Of course, man. You're dead wrong. Dude, listen. So it's fun. I want to hear about the show. Obviously, it's a bunch of friends like you talked about. Is it the same? Is it just, tables? Is it autographs? Is it, you've been to shows with me. Like the Hofstra show we've been to, the East Coast National. It's like, a lot of people signing autographs and stuff. The tables are the same, not fresh inventory. Yeah, but what do you think?
I think we don't realize that the devil's in the details because I could say the same thing about a 3-star Michelin restaurant.
Yep.
Is it just a restaurant? It's the experience you get when you're there. So you could go into two restaurants. The menus are the same, the food is the same, but how it's presented is really the experience.
Very true.
So
how these guys do? Do they present it well?
I think it's the first and last impression that are so important. I think. And dude, I mean, there's so many opportunities. But like people come in, you could greet them with a goodie bag. You could greet them with coffee. I know I always say that. You could greet them
continental breakfast.
You could greet them with continental breakfast, and people are laughing. But like,
no,
I think there's a lot you could do with the entry.
I just left the U.S. Open. We could talk about that my day, and I left with a goodie bag. I left with a bag with a shirt and a cup, that has like the sponsors on it, a little pin and that kind of stuff. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And you leave and you come home, you're like, oh, I wonder what was in the bag, So I know what you're saying.
And here's what I'm excited about. So at National, I got a chance to catch up with Rob from Burbank. Now I go to this show. And what I see is the hobby that traditionally isn't experience and customer service hospitality focused is moving in that direction. It's not something that happens overnight. You know what I mean? It takes time. It does take time. It takes 3-4 shows. We had Prism got on. Okay, this is Culture Collision number 3. Culture Collision number 1 is different than 3 and is different than 33. And you told me this. By the yard, life is hard. By the inch, life is a cinch. It's
Boom!
the same with this.
Yeah.
I'm locked in like fucking Jordan in
By
the
the
flu
way, let me
game,
ask you
bro.
something. Do you think part of that is the
Shout out
success
Bleecker.
of the market, right? Bleecker is a good example of it too. Do you think that, part of it is card shows didn't have to do anything, right? Because a couple years ago, it was a niche market, right? You went there if you were into cards, and you weren't going there for continental breakfast or a goodie bag or anything else. And you went to the shows, and you went to the shows, right? But now there's even competition for the shows. Like, shows are big business. At each show that does something new, it pushes the other shows to do better, to step up their game. And the National this year was different from the National last year. Everybody talked about the corporate area. Well, when we finished with the first version of the Mint Collective, give Marino and Collectible a lot of credit. Can't wait to see what they do for the next one, right? That was their first time doing it. I believe they pushed, the envelope, right? They moved the finish line for a show like the National, which is amazing to think of because the National, that's booked for the next however many years. Everyone's going. They could sell out tomorrow. They probably already sold out 3 years from now, a show. So they don't have to do anything, but the market has made them adapt too. Yeah, that's why you get
It's Blockbuster Netflix. It's the same game. It plays itself out in every industry, dude. It really does.
It makes a better product, right? Right? Doesn't we talk about competition? Is it now competition between shows?
I think so, dude. Because I know we get a lot of, not like a lot, but every once in a while get heat from our partner, people. Kind of, hey, these guys have sponsors, so how can they be unbiased? But I talk about this with Cage a lot. I don't think we ever lose sight who our true customer is. And I think when things are really good, you lose sight of who the customer is. They become an anonymous check.
That's right.
It doesn't matter what I do. They're going to show up and pay me money. I think it's good to get back to our customer is the viewer. Our customer is the person that's taking time out of their day because they could just go watch their kid play basketball.
The members of the nation. That's the customer. Luca Nation. The members of the nation.
There's so many options. They got to get up out of their bed, uncomfortable, get in their car. It's hot as hell. Get coffee. Show up. You're asking people to do a lot. Give them a good experience. And I think we're trending there. That was the thing. But Andrew can never do it good without the bad. If you are young,
what'd you do? No,
do not sit at your table. Stand up and greet people. Don't be on your phone with your camera guy to your left. You're going to do one piece of content of how you did an amazing trade, but in reality, you're kind of a douche. So the young kids that are there, get up out of your chair, greet the people that are coming to the table, tell them your story, tell them why you're in the hobby, capture their attention. Don't just sit there, all four of you guys, on your phones.
You think maybe they're texting each other? Maybe they're messaging each other?
I know. I figured out their shtick. You know what they do? They send watch this. They send one of their their foot soldiers. Their foot soldiers. He's at show, in Phoenix, and the other one's in LA, and they're texting each other arbitrage deals. Hey, we got deals here. You want to go try to sell it there? Hey, you want to buy this here and sell it here? Little sneaks. I actually don't hate it. I think it's a brilliant idea.
It's smart, right? If you're sitting in Arizona and in the New York show, you could pick up a Kyler Murray and flip it right there. Why the heck not?
Cage is good, man. He fixed this up.
It's part of the deal. Well, dude, you know what's fun? I like your energy, right? With the you go to a show, you get to see how it is, and it's not always just positive. Hey, the guys did a good job, but guess what? Here's a little learning thing, right? Don't sit at your table. Come around, meet people, shake hands, do your deals, have some fun.
You remember the guy at Nashville? We met Scott the first day we were sitting out there for a while talking.
Mm-hmm.
He was there.
Yep.
He has 2 or 3 kids. I think he's in his 30s. He was standing the whole entire time. The whole time by himself.
Having fun, though.
And 4 little kids next to him were text, D-Mix, texting. Get up and but they have their huge banner advertising who they are.
Text D-Mix, Texterson, huh? That's who they were?
They have their huge banner of hey, this is my YouTube channel. And then all 4 of them were texting dude, say what's up. Tell us about your YouTube channel. Why did you start it? Inspire younger kids. Talk to them about how they could do it. Or to the adults, say, hey, check out. You're there to sell, but not just to sell cards. You're there to sell the hobby.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
You posted a story
Repost it. I don't do content. I suck.
And I kind of, jumped on about how you've been chasing MFers for 750 episodes, and now people can come to us. And your story was something like, they only come to you when they need you.
Yeah.
Give me that. Give me like a 30-second and 1 minute of where your headspace was, because we've done a lot of these national treasures, and people, they message me, they miss Andrew isms, they miss the continental breakfast, they miss what's going on in that crazy brain of yours. And I think this week what they want to know, besides the bargains on PWCC, is what was eating Gilbert Grape? What's going on? What made you post that?
Can I tell you? I'm more, dude. You're a great coach. If I could be real, like you help me navigate life, because I think people don't get why we're at the place we're at. Like, they think that guests just show up. But in reality,
they don't.
Like,
I just show up.
Well, you're right. But my first job out of college was sales. After Walsh, I was like, but it was sales, and it was outbound. You have to go and find people. You have to go and get them and get their attention and say, how am I going to add value into your day and life? So, like, that wasn't eating away at me. I wanted people to see all the rejection that you can get and still go after. And then 2-3 years later, just by doing hard work, supporting each other, listening to mentors when they tell you you're doing shit wrong, and improving, that they could get there too.
And guys, the behind the scenes, I don't even know half of it. And let's just we'll just go right out there, right? So we were who did we have on where we talked? Lesko, right? The lawyer one, right? Paul. So part of the National Treasure series, we talked about that, and he had a lot of stuff about Leaf, because Leaf seems to be embroiled in a lot of different issues. And he mentioned on the show, I think I mentioned some admiration for Brian Gray, CEO of Leaf, and some of the products he put out in the MMA space that I opened a lot of in 2010, 2011. And I think I even mentioned, try to get him on the show. That would be awesome. It would be nice to have him on. And there were some tweets back and forth, and Brian Gray messaged me on Twitter. Hey, Cage Lawyer, love to be on the show. I'd love to come on the show. So I screenshot it and I sent it over to Andrew, which is what I do. I'm like, hey, here's a guest, right? Yeah. Thinking like, all right, I've mentioned this guy before. Here we are. Now people are coming to us. They want to come on, right? And people are asking to be on the show, and people ask pretty often, actually. But this was one I actually wanted to talk to, because it's an interesting. Plus, this week would be a great week to have him on, because he's in, like, Ken Golden's got the popcorn out, right? I mean, there's drama left and right. And
you've talked about Leaf and Prism quite a few times about how they've innovated with design, and you've given them a lot of
chromium cards. I give them credit. It would be the friendly confines. I think, like, I would pay homage to some of the products they put on there. I wouldn't be calling them out. It wouldn't be a gotcha episode or anything like that. So I think he probably knew that and said, let's come on. So I sent that screenshot to Andrew, and I said, hey, have him on. This is the guy I've been trying to get on for a while. And I get a video back, one of these like screen records from Andrew that is no BS, like a year's worth of him trying to get this guy on the show, trying to pin him down, messaging him saying, hey, Cage really wants to have you on. He speaks highly of you, come on the show, and never being able to like pin this dude down. And now he's asking. So I get a little behind the scenes myself, because I'm like, hey, Andrew, check this guy. Let's see. It should be pretty easy. Just send him a message and he'll be on tomorrow. But little do I know, he's been sending him messages for the better part of a year and a half and can't get him done. So it's fun, man. And yes, there's a lot of that goes on behind the scenes. If I don't know about, I'm sure the listeners don't know about. But I guess that's kind of where your brain was at. Like, hey, they disappear until they need you.
Well, I want to be clear. You know me pretty well. Like, that stuff doesn't him not responding or not being on the show doesn't bother me. Like, that's just what I've done for the last 10 years. What my message to people is, don't stop at rejection. It really was like, until they're going to come to you eventually. If you build it, they'll come. Like, all those cliches and stuff. Like, I get more and more messages now, Cage, from young entrepreneurs. Like, how do I start my break business on Whatnot? How I have an LCS. How should I set her up or him up with Whatnot? I'm getting into the hobby. I bought cards that, for my PC, but now I used all my money. Is there a way to flip? How do I make a business out of it? So I get a lot of messages from young entrepreneurs, and I respond back. And there's two things that I respond back with. It's industry knowledge and business knowledge. It's really not that complicated, right? And industry knowledge, here's a piece of advice. Find mentors. And I didn't agree with Brian Cajun Cardboard about this. I don't think people are too busy. I think if you make it easy on mentors, they'll respond. Because what you need isn't a whole spiel. You just need them to say, am I going in the right direction? Am I seeing things right or not? And they'll course correct you. So if you make it easy on mentors and reach out to them with questions where they could basically say yes or no and course correct you, dude, their people will help. So industry knowledge I got from you and I got from our guests, having them on the show and learning. And then the business knowledge, I think people need to realize it does take time.
Oh, yeah.
It does take time. It does take a little bit of bashing that wall down. It does take follow-up. It does take follow-up with value, in my opinion. And eventually, if you do that, they'll come full circle. And I thought that was such a full circle moment. Not to use Brian. Dude, Brian's a fantastic guy. He runs
we'll have him on eventually.
Yeah. It was just like, hey, this is how the business world works, man.
You know what my favorite part was? My upshot, because I like to support you. I never know what you're feeling, but I'll just repost it and say, okay, you guys can come to us. People message me, waving like, hey, I'm here. Like, I'm coming to you. It's smaller stuff. And, we can talk this week about this, or maybe we can kind of listen to, what our audience wants to think. We do try to provide as much value as we can in these episodes. And when we have guests on the show, it's, we try to bring on guests that they want to hear from. That's the National Treasure series. I tried to do that, come up with Cage for a little while. Some of the
I was going to say, bring it back.
So maybe we'll have to do something like that.
4 episodes. Guess the grade.
Double coverage.
Slabs. Double coverage.
Slab shelf. Gingy Man cards.
Oh, what? Yes, Gingy Man, the Marvel guy.
Gingy Man, Marvel cards. Gingy Man cards, yeah, Marvel cards. That guy's the best. Until we have to ship stuff over across the pond, and you got to figure out international shipping, and then it's no fun. But I figured
I got to watch Alcaraz play, and I said,
I did.
Phenomenal, and you're like, his coach is awesome.
Yes. So he is an athlete. He is a specimen. He is 19 years old. He makes way too many unforced errors, and he's not going to get away with that when the level of competition steps up. If he has to play Medvedev, or if he has to play Rafa, or has to.
This is a guy that won 6-3, 6-3, 6-3 today, by the way.
Oh, but did you watch the match? Do you watch the games, bro? Do you watch the games, bro? Because yes, he was 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. But do you know he was down 3-0 in the third set, and he came back six straight? There was a one point was a 29 volley, 29 back. But the kid he played against, awkward, actually gave Djokovic some fits the last time they played each other. And, just an awkward but a great backhanded player. And he was trying to convert it into a backhanded match, which that's not the strong suit of Alcaraz. But Alcaraz is great, strong. At one point, 135 mile an hour serve. 135 mile an hour serve. Just everything at full speed. And against this level of competition, he didn't need to. A lot of unforced errors, a lot. 7 of 11 on breaks. But that third set almost got away from him. And his coach, he was getting a lot of coaching. They're probably going to change this in tennis with these youngsters because his opponent was getting coached too. You're not supposed to coach. It's the overtly coach. It's the dumbest rule ever.
It's so stupid. But my dad coaches tennis, and when I found out, I was like, this is the dumb. You train these kids all year to, in the most important time, you can't say a word.
Can't say it. Although these guys were getting coached and they were letting it go. It's very easy stuff. I like him if he makes that many unforced errors and doesn't know when to lean into it and pull back. He doesn't have to make the perfect shot every time. There were so many opportunities where a passing shot would have worked 20 miles an hour less than what he did. I mean, he was firing the ball every time. And I guess, you know what? You get to this level because you're full speed. Yeah. He broke his shoes. He tried to make a play in the third set. He actually slid across the court, and his shoes. He had to switch shoes in the middle of the match. He did like a Zion. He popped his shoes. I mean, an incredible athletic space. A lot of fun to watch.
And tell me if I'm wrong, because I do this a lot. I draw parallels between things. I think in business, that is the first stage of business. It's high intensity. Do a billion things. See what sticks. Just go 100 miles an hour. And then it becomes more focus, right? And it takes a good coach to say, you're not here to destroy this guy on this game. You're here to work on your craft so that you could win majors.
Yeah.
Because he is high intensity the whole game.
But you could tell he was down 3-0, and there was one, Jens was serving against him. And Jensen Booksby. I actually made a joke in the suite. I was
American?
like, if you name your kid Jensen Booksby, you better know how to play tennis or row. You know, you're probably not playing basketball. So anyway, he's up 3-0 and serving, and he's up like 15 love, and maybe 30 love, and there's a break. Like a break opportunity would come in huge here because you go down 4-0, it's nothing, and you could see Alcaraz's coach. You could see him kind of like, all right, you know what? You can almost hear like let's try to win 1 point at a time. Let's see whether or not you can get back to 30-15, then 30-30. Let's see whether or not you can just start with 1. And he broke him.
Saying this, or you're saying?
Yeah, you could hear. We were like 15 feet away from him. You know what I mean? He was 1 level down from where we were.
In Spanish, right?
And they're speaking in Spanish. He's speaking in Spanish. You could also see like the hand motions, right? And it's fun. It was fun. And he went on a tear, and the other guy just lost. He came in the third set and just like really went, balls to the wall. Alcaraz withstood it. It's fun to watch. I'll tell you what's cool is when an athlete like that is out there, it puts butts in the seats. And I'll give you like a specific example. We watched a women's match before it, and it was great to watch. A lot of great tennis, a lot of back and forth. And then this match came on, and everyone was in the suite saying, all right, you got to go outside and watch and just see the speed that they're playing at. See just the ball, how fast the ball's moving, and how this guy is just playing at a different level. Oh my God. I mean, he was on the run backhands 111, 112 miles an hour. That's like people serve. It's crazy what was going on.
Let me ask you.
Very fast pace.
Carlos Alcaraz cards dropped like in the last week and a half. You were on vacation, so you missed out.
I remember. I read about it. They were expensive. Very expensive.
Thoughts on a release like that?
It's like the Trevor Lawrence Pro Set release. The only difference is I don't know whether or not there are actual tennis cards. You know what I mean? Like, is there going to be a release? I would imagine somebody, when you get a rookie like this, whether it's Fanatics or Topps or Panini, somebody's going to get a license if there already isn't one. There's going to be a way to do like real cards because he'll have enough demand.
You mean cards in packs versus buying a card off of
exactly.
Card has to be pack pulled, basically.
I mean, Panini Instant doesn't do too well. Topps Now doesn't do too well. These cards, they do okay, but not when compared to a pack-pulled actual release of a card. That's the difference.
The hilarious thing is that's the thing about the Jordan Star. Like, full circle, it's the same thing. Is if you sell the actual card and someone can buy it, whether that's you go to an LCS, you could buy that card, or online, it takes away the mystique, the appeal, the uncertainty of like
no uncertainty at all. It wasn't a pack pull. It wasn't, there's no randomness to it. You're buying.
How is that different from buying a Furby, that you really liked? Do you sell Furbies?
No, I never sold Furbies.
Do you remember those?
Of course.
That was during your eBay days of getting cashier's checks and stuff?
I was kind of finishing up with it. The Beanie Babies were getting killed, and I didn't want to turn into another Beanie Baby with the Furby, so I kind of stayed out of that. Pogs, too. But I did get to meet Juan Carlos Ferrero. I sent you a picture. Do you see two great coaches? That was the picture I sent you. That's Alcaraz's coach.
Young guy.
Yeah. Former number 1. Won the French. Won a bunch of singles. Former number 1 tennis player. That's when you said good coaches. There you go. Good coaches. So I was very rude. I was that guy. He was just talking, and I walked up, and I was like, hey,
can I get a photo?
Can I get a photo? And he's like, but I'm talking. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to do it now.
You said that?
Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, I'll stay here. And when you're done talking, you can take a picture.
I could stay here all day.
Yeah, I'll stay.
If you filibuster, I'll be here.
If you keep talking, I may throw in. I know you speak in Spanish. I mean, I know how to order a Taco Bell pretty well. I mean, I'll say chalupa. I know some words. I know a couple here and there. No, but he was fine. You can see. I'll post a picture later. Big smile. But yes, fun stuff. I enjoyed the event. It's nice to go there and do that. They set the place up really nice. It's cool to see, Queens in all its glory. Parking. I got to the exit at 10:50 a.m. Didn't get into the stadium itself until 11:40. So 50 minutes from the exit.
AC.
It was just like that. Only I parked and you couldn't park in a certain area because the Mets are playing tonight. So there's an overlap. They're in the same parking space, the same overflow.
The Mets playing in Queens?
Yeah, the Mets are in Queens.
How big is this Queens area?
Queens is huge. Millions of people.
Boulevard, it's
8507 Queens Boulevard. One of the best fast food places in the world. McDowell's. It's not McDonald's. McDonald's has a Big Mac. McDowell's has a Big Mick.
How big Queens is.
Yeah. They're
Shout
almost
out
the
back,
same.
Mike.
They both have
What do I even call him now?
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and onions. The Big Mac comes with a sesame seed bun. McDowell's bun has no seeds.
Is that good?
It's good. It's really good.
Cage.
They have exchange students, Akeem, who works there, and
What
Semi.
the fuck are you talking about?
This is
Trading places.
No, close, very close, very close. Coming to America. Coming to America. It's the restaurant.
Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy.
Not Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy. Arsenio Hall.
That's not Wesley Snipes?
No, that's Blade. Wesley Snipes is Blade. But this is now, you said this is an all-time episode. This last 30 seconds has made it an all-time episode. I love
Wesley
it.
Snipes is into
Money Train?
White Man Can't Jump.
White Man Can't Jump, yes. But that is not Eddie Murphy. That is...
what do you mean?
His teammate is not Eddie Murphy. His
no,
teammate
I know.
is
I saw
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
Very
People
close.
love him. People love Woody.
Yeah.
He's selective. He's like, I'll make like one good movie every once in a
It's like
while.
Bill
Ride
Murray.
my bike through New York. I don't know how
Random.
those people don't get like, I want to do more. Some people are just okay with doing great things every once in a while.
They don't need to, right? I mean, they're okay. I mean, not everybody needs to just continue to do a new thing every couple of years like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Do you know that was what I was thinking?
No, tell me about it.
Well, no, I was like, Leo's another one. Every 3 years he comes out
Are you
with
talking about his movies or his love life?
I can't, dude. Twitter is gonna wreck our minds. Like after that Biden red background whole thing.
Wow, we are really jumping all over the place.
Chaos.
This is what happens. What happened with that? What is that? That wasn't even Photoshop. That's a real picture. That's crazy.
Can I be real? I
Yes.
hate the guy. I don't think it matters. Like I don't
It doesn't
understand.
matter. None of it matters.
We assign so much intense emotion to shit these days. It's like that stuff that like just doesn't. Leo only dates younger than 25. Yeah, because he's good looking and fucking rich. You would too. Like you would too. What are we talking about anymore?
Well, I mean,
George
listen.
Clooney did that for a long time.
Yes, he did. He most definitely did. He was also on Facts of Life. But you know what I would do if I had all that money?
Honestly, probably the same shit in a bigger house.
I would be buying more items from the PWCC weekly auction. Like I dive in a little bit here and there. I know you buy a bunch, but this week there's some nice stuff at the PWCC auction. If you were rich, would you be looking at any of these particular cards? Would you look at maybe like the Trevor Lawrence National Treasures Stars and Stripes patch auto out of 25?
You're joking.
People love that Stars and Stripes. Trevor Lawrence.
I wouldn't buy any of these modern quarterbacks ever. Like,
Ever.
I don't, dude. I don't under. I've told you this before. I think this is the biggest quarterback pump I've seen since I entered the hobby. That's 4. I think that's 4 different seasons: 2019, 2020, 21, 22. This is the easily. Like, I don't think any of them are in even that great of opportunities to be successful.
Except Trey Lance.
He's in the best, but I don't think I've ever seen like.
So you're not buying that one, but that's a nice card. The 2021 National Treasure Stars and Stripes Trevor Lawrence rookie patch auto. It's in a PSA 8. Everybody likes these. I mean, he's not the highest priced QB in this class. I don't think. I mean, Trey Lance is selling like crazy.
Dude, it's gonna. Lawrence Taylor came up. I think it's all gonna. I think with these more modern quarterbacks, as more supply hits the market, as the season starts, as earnings come out, earnings are never as good as they are. Like, honestly, week 1, he has to throw for 6 touchdowns for, I think, prices to even sustain. Earnings are never as good as expectations with this kind of stuff.
There it is. Stars and Stripes. Beautiful card. PSA 8.
I don't know. I talked to Prism for a while about this. He was buying some Jalen Green stuff. And I was like, at the end of the day, man, this just has to hit a collector's hand. I guess this is a PWCC episode. I apologize.
It's all right.
It has to hit a collector's hand.
Listen, it doesn't always have to be, hey, I think that's a cool looking card. I'm not buying it. I'm definitely not buying it for $12,000 or $13,000 that it's at, although I think that's probably a low when you compare this to some of the other prices of not just Trevor Lawrence, but the other quarterbacks out there. But let's put it in another direction. there are a lot of cards. I looked this. There are a lot of Jordan Poole cards in this weekly auction.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, so this is right up your alley, right? Do you think this is a buying opportunity for someone like Jordan Poole when no one's looking? Because everybody's week 1 football Thursday, right? The Rams at the Bills. People are on Josh Allen. People are buying the rookie quarterbacks. Nobody's buying the basketball yet. And Poole had what I would consider a breakout season this year, right? So talk to me about that, because there is one, the 2019 Select Courtside. I mean, think about this. This is one of the problems with Select. But you ready? Select Courtside Disco Black Prism Jordan Poole 1 of 1. Get that again. The Select Courtside Disco Black Prism Jordan Poole 1 of 1. It's a BGS 9.5.
What's it at?
It's a 1 of 1. It's not from Prism. It's from Select. It's the Courtside one. Let's pull up the card right now, and we can see what it's at right now.
We'll come back to Trevor Lawrence, because I love.
Of course, I love
you. You're good at.
It's a $3,600 right now. 1 of 1, only copy, $3,600. But if you look, there's a ton of.
Is it a rookie?
Yeah, it's 2019 is his rookie year. There's also a red out of 299 in PSA 10. There's a silver PSA 10. There's a mosaic silver. I mean, I don't know whether or not people love mosaic, but there's a mosaic silver PSA 10 that's sitting at $40. If you're a pool fan, there's a couple nice pools, but that 1 of 1 is pretty sweet.
So
disco.
A few things.
Yep.
A few things. If we talk about Poole the player, let's start with that, okay?
Yeah, start with that.
I actually think that he's an incredible opportunity with these young guys. Prism God said this. He was a good point. It was back in the day, you'd be okay with dealing with adversity. I don't think these kids, when they're put into a lot of adversity at a young age, I think the pressure could be too much, even on great talent. He's put into a place where he could shine. If he's having an off day, the other guys will get it, right?
Yep.
And it lets him develop. And what I've seen from him every single year, 2019, he's going into his 3rd year? Or It'll be his 3rd year, right?
Yeah, so 19, 20, 21, this will be 22. This will be a second. Yeah,
4th year.
Yeah.
He's improved year over year. And that's a guy that I would like to invest in versus a guy that has a huge, kind of bursts onto the scene and then falls off, i.e. Tyler Hero. Even though on the surface, I think they look the same. Okay. What card? This one?
Yeah, the BGS 9.5, $3,600.
Not gonna lie, it's kind of a sick card. It's kind of a sick card. I like this. I like how the NBA logo actually looks on this card. I thought it was like a patch of the logo man right there for a sec. It's a cool card, man. I don't know. I'm not in this arena of high ticket speculative.
Oh, here he goes. Here he goes.
Well, you got to shop around with what you could get for that money, no?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right, keep feeding me. What else stuck out to you? Because I have some stuff, but
there's a bunch, right? One that I think you might think is pretty sweet. They don't get graded high, so it's a tough one. A 1985 Prism with an SM, PRISM, Jewel stickers, Michael Jordan Rookie.
Now we're talking.
These
I think
are
that
the
had
vending.
a designation.
These are the vending stickers. Yes, it has an eye appeal, PWCC.
Yes.
Right? Could this be a rookie? If the 84, 85 star is, it's a sticker. It came in a vending machine and grocery stores, but it's cool. It's cool in a big slab. It's just a cool looking card. It's different. It's provocative. It gets the people going.
Buying. You know what I've been buying?
Mm-hmm.
Why start me off with Trevor Lawrence? You knew I wasn't buying Trevor Lawrence.
Because Trevor Lawrence, Stars and Stripes, is out of 25. That's almost a premier auction level thing. Something like that in the weekly, it sticks out at me. And also, I don't want to get in trouble. You were very mad at me that one time when I started talking about things you buy. PSA 9, 10 Jordans and that kind of stuff. You were like, what are you doing? You called me a lot of names, and you didn't have a good week buying stuff in the auction. So, I can start talking about some other stuff if you like. But, I figured, you don't want me talking about low-end Michael Jordan PSA
what do you
slabs.
think I'm buying now? This is fun.
What do I think you're buying now? I don't know. Maybe the 1951 Parkhurst Maurice Rocket Richard rookie in PSA 7. Do you know what the award for scoring the most goals in a season is called? It's the
Puskas.
Richard Trophy. It's named after this guy. You don't see this card in high grade, 1951, Parkhurst, Maurice Richard. So yeah, there's you, Jordan. So you're not buying that one? You're not buying the 1951 Maurice Rocket Richard? What do I think you're buying? What do I think you're buying? I think you are buying 90s Michael Jordan cards in PSA 10 that people are not bidding on because they get lost.
I am buying in preparation for the World Cup.
Oh, okay. So you're buying some Haaland. I saw a story post. Send me all your Haalands. Hit me with the DMs.
I actually fucked up on that.
Mash the DMs.
I bought the second year Color Blast, not realizing they almost had the identical images first and second year.
Mm-hmm.
And people love first year. And I was like, I thought I got a deal. And I was like, I see. No, I'm buying a few players that I'm looking
Don't jump off that yet.
Yeah.
It's important for people to hear that. You are not infallible. But the lesson learned there is don't get too crazy. Like, oh, look, it's the Color Blast. Take a second. As Andrew likes to say, take a beat, right? Give yourself a minute. Make sure what you're buying is what you actually want to buy. And a lot of times, if you think you're getting that good of a deal, there's a reason. You're buying the wrong card.
Yeah, I would agree. It was a chase. It was chasing. You never make good decisions when you chase.
I mean,
I will say I've gotten very fortunate recently with offline sellers, but a few players I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And one I'll tell you guys right off the bat that I think is probably has the most upside. I bought quite a few of his cards. This is kind of cramping my style, but you guys know I love you. I tell you what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. Harry Kane. Harry Kane is very interesting. He's the best player on England, the most accomplished. He's the captain. He's in fantastic form on Tottenham.
Great singer. And he's with Olivia Wilde now, I think, right? As we were. Right?
Why do you know?
I didn't know he played soccer. He played soccer.
How do you know pop culture so well? He does. And dude, you could get soccer's weird. Soccer is a weird sport because soccer cards burst onto the scene kind of like 2020-ish. So you have some guys that like we qualify them as rookies. But then you have this whole assortment of incredible veterans in colored parallels that like people don't really know what to do with. So you have like Harry Kane, like cards like out of 99 or out of 10, or like there's a pop one game worn immaculate of him. Game worn, like a nice card, pop one, PSA 10. What do you think that should sell for? He's a good player.
I've never heard of this man.
He's
so
a Dame.
I'm the wrong person.
Let's compare him to Dame Lillard. I think I'll put him in that category. Superstar, very good. Never got to the, never won Champions League or any of that.
So he's not like a prospect, though.
No.
He's been around for a while.
Yeah,
he's been around for a while. He's like a known commodity. People aren't.
He's the captain of the EPL of the British team.
Captain of Britain. So he's like captain of Britain. He's like a Rooney.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's like
that's fair.
Rooney,
a little bit more likable. Rooney's looks like a bulldog.
Rooney.
The Immaculate ended for like $88 in a PSA
really?
10.
Wow, I would have definitely went higher than that, even though I don't know who the guy is.
So like opportunities like that. So that's one player. I personally still think Messi is a buy. I really do believe Messi's a buy. It's his last World Cup. There's going to be that same hype that Serena had if she didn't fold in the third. What was that about?
I mean, she's 40.
So
you kind of run out of steam. I'm not gonna say she folded. I mean, you get tired. You're playing against people half your age.
She folded, dude. I've watched a lot of women's tennis. Okay. Not really, but you go up 1-0 with a break on your serve. I don't know. I'm surprised, man. I thought she had it. Anyway.
So no on Mbappe.
I'm not an Mbappe believer. I've never been. You remember that? I got a double lemon from the double coverage guys.
You did.
And now that's proven out. Haaland has 7 goals in 3 games. And Mbappe stayed in the French league. Dude, I said it then. I think Haaland is an Ibrahimovic type of talent without the baggage that Ibra kind of bought, even though it's hilarious.
All right. You know who I like. I mean, if I'm going to take a bite out of soccer, I'm going for Suarez.
He's got a lot of nice cards.
That's my guy.
Can I pull something up because you brought up Trevor Lawrence?
1985 Panini Calciatore Soccer Roberto Baggio rookie
That's
PSA
actually
9
sick. Here's what worries
with
me.
the mullet.
And this is why I love
Yeah.
PWCC. It's not just the cards in the inventory. It's also how easy the tech is. So like I just searched Trevor Lawrence and look at like you. I think this is cool. I think this gives you perspective. Here's almost identical cards. Panini Black and National Treasures, different release. I got all that stuff. You got his card in a 7, 3. What is this? 3 color patch, 3 or 2 color patch. Out of 25, out of 25. PSA 8, PSA 7. Pop 1, none graded higher. One's at 13,000 cage, one's at 310.
Yep.
Now, I don't know. Just to me, as a logical, rational investor, I would rather have the risk of 310 than 13,000, where I feel that 310 could go to 600 as likely as that 13,000 could become 26.
I mean, it's possible. What if listen, it depends what you're buying it for, right? I would imagine somebody buying Trevor Lawrence right now is probably thinking that they're going to either hold him for 3 years or 3 weeks. They're hoping that he's going to have a great start and they could flip him and make some money on it quickly, or that he's the real deal and it's going to take a little time and they'll build a team around him. That's, I guess, the only two that I can see. I mean, he's in the AFC. He's probably not going to, be doing anything crazy over the next couple of years with all the people you have out there. I love what you're saying, but can I ask something? With soccer, are you prospecting with soccer because of the World Cup? Like, is your goal, like, I'm going to buy these and when the World Cup comes, I'm selling them? No?
Oh, yes. But I don't think – I want to be clear with the word prospecting because I'm not buying guys like Pedri.
Right. But you're just short term. It's like flipping almost, right? So it's not because I ask. I mean, look, $88 is a different story. But like, if you're going to spend $1,000 on like a Haaland card, right? There's a gorgeous card, 1955 Garincha Rookie, which now that's 3 years before the 58 ones that we've seen. It's a price discovery, the whole deal. It's like $800. And I mean, I don't know if any of these guys are as good as he is. Right? I don't know if any of these guys are going to do what and that's $800 at thousands of dollars. I guess, my question always is, what are you planning on doing with this stuff, right? Do you want to hold Harry Kane cards? No, your thought is, I'm going to hold a Harry. That's the card. Cool card,
it's
right?
It's a gorgeous card. PWCCE. I don't know how they're really beautiful card. People like Garincha. I've actually, quite a few people on the Whatnot stream have asked about him.
Yeah. I mean, was on that team before Pele, right? I mean, that's just, that was the 1-2 punch. It's just, the soccer stuff, the vintage is weird, right? We had Gooner on, and he didn't know about all this stuff.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm very interested how the World Cup plays out, man. I don't know in my lifetime when it's been in it's in the fall, when you have 3 other big American sports going on. Usually has the summer all to itself, which is like the perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like you'd stop. I remember we would stop.
It's November, right? So, I mean, there's definitely everything.
2nd.
Everything's going to be still, I mean, baseball will be ending. The World Series will be ending. It will come off the high of that, right? And football will be in full swing. And hockey somewhere being played, I guess. Basketball.
Some fans, man. Some hockey cards do go. We don't do it justice because it's not our market, but Jay Lee's a great resource for that. Hockey cards.
You're it.
Did you drink today?
No, not at all. Not a single. I had 1 sip of a honey juice, which is their drink. It's very tasty, but I had 1 sip. I drove there. I drove back. So no drinking for me at all. Plus, I really wanted to be able to focus on the play of Alcaraz, because you've spoken about him. This was your guy. You knew about him, and it kind of sucks that there aren't more tennis cards, because I know if there were tennis cards last year and he had them, you would have been scooping them up like crazy. Because I know people talk about him now. You talked about him first. I was talking about that today in the suite. So you were on Alcaraz before anybody. Harry Potter stickers or not, you were on Alcaraz before anybody started it. Oh, this guy is the greatest. I got the moon. Tom Brady. You buying Tom Brady?
Can I tell you what's interesting?
No.
2 different people today claimed, respectable people, that he's going to retire mid-season And that video that you guys saw, he's actually going through some marital troubles.
What video? I didn't see a video.
He like did a press conference where he looked like his face got done up and stuff, like very chiseled. And he looked like stressed. He looked at it wasn't there. He's like, hey guys, like I'm 45. I have like life problems. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
the thought was that Giselle is not happy that he came back and unretired.
I mean, he's got like a $375 million contract waiting for him on the other end before anybody knows how he does on TV. I don't think he's going to retire mid-season. I think it kind of tarnishes the whole deal. I doubt that. But, I mean, look, this is it.
You were the one that called that he was going to come back. So I don't listen to these other voices.
I did.
I listened to my esteemed experienced co-host.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, he's still playing at an elite level.
So you don't think all that home stuff, Matt, is real?
It is, but his home stuff is not my home stuff, right? His wife also has a job, has stuff going on, makes a ton of money, and they're split up. It's like, an actor, you're married to another actor. They're off doing their own movie. They're doing their movie. The kids are basically like, raised by like, hey, staff.
I've been by you for this long. Like now I want my career before
one more year. That's
what you said to me last year.
Yeah,
when is it going to be about me?
Listen, I'm not in their house, so I can't tell you what's going on. Are we not
role playing?
No. You don't get to be Giselle. That would be very weird. But I mean, listen, it's odd. He took 2 weeks off leading up to this.
It's odd that I want to pursue my career and in fashion and modeling, and you keep saying one more year, and here you came back to us, and then you're leaving again. For what? Gronk is gone. You don't have a Super
Bowl.
That
time.
You're not going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Gronk just wants to party and not go to preseason. He'll be back by like week 4. Gronk
is going to retire, not Brady's going to retire.
No, Gronk will be playing. If they're actually winning games, Gronk will be out there. He'll come out there. He'll start to get in shape. He'll start to play. That's one phone call.
Guys, look for liquidation opportunities. So this is against my own best judgment. But there is a 1997 Skybox 2001 Defying Gravity. I'll pull it up. I'm bidding on this, guys. Sorry. We do a show. We have to be transparent. I want to be here for you guys. This card, gravity denied. But here's the issue or the excitement with it. There's about 10 of them. So you have to think that somebody owned a collection of them because it's a sick insert. Mm-hmm. And there's Karl Malone, Olajuwon, Penny, a few others. I can't remember all of them. But that's a cool opportunity for collectors to get those cards in high grades because those Defying Gravity cards, and I'll probably won't go above you guys saw whatever that was. I'm going to bail out here just to be transparent for what we do. Those are very difficult grades. So what you saw there are high grade 9s and 8s in that Defying Gravity set. And I think that's an interesting play because those cards sell for about $200 to $300, Cage.
Love it. Love it. I will tell you what I'm looking at this week then because you did the exact same thing. So why the heck not? Top 10 in MVP odds for the NFL this year. But nobody, he's definitely in there. Nobody's giving this guy any love. Rodgers won the MVP the last 2 years, so it wouldn't be a surprise. But this guy was this guy was all the rage, right? And it's amazing to me because we talk about Jordan Poole. Who?
Russell Wilson.
No, close, but no. We talk about Jordan Poole as a guy who, he's still young. He's learning. He's still young. It's a 2019 rookie card. It's, still almost prospecting. You're still buying him low, maybe, So this is also a 2019 rookie. And when you look at the card prices by comparison, this guy's already done some stuff, already put up some numbers, but you look at the card prices by comparison, this is somebody who is in the right conference to put up MVP numbers because he's in the NFC, not the AFC, competing against everybody. The difficult part is once you get to the top of there, you have the Rams, the Bucks, and the Packers. You have Brady, you have Rodgers, you have Matthew Stafford.
Brady's retiring.
Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray cards are dirt cheap by comparison. And you can take this two ways, guys. You can look one and say Murray was the one everybody was chasing coming into last year, coming into the year before. Remember, he was rookie in 19 and the second year, 2020. Oh, wow, 2020. This guy's going to be great. He ended the season awesome. And Kyler's putting up these these great numbers. He's running quarterback, you name it, the whole deal. Well, Kyler's forgotten. Yeah, there's a cool Tiger Stripe one, the Tiger Prism.
$800? That's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
nothing. I mean, there's a red wave out of 149 PSA 10. That's the most expensive one in this auction, and it's just over $1,000. I mean, you're talking about really nice looking. The one that I like, yeah, that's it to the left. The 2019 Select Field Level Silver Prism, just a nice looking card with him throwing the ball. PSA 10, $260. The Downtown is in here for $250. There's a second one of those. Yeah, shoot.
Victory.
Wow.
I bought that card this week.
What, this past week or this
Not
week
in
at
the
your show?
PWCC, just an offline
Good job.
deal. This never happens.
It's a nice card. Did you
It's
buy
just
it for somewhere near these prices?
We have never agreed on a purchase.
That's a great purchase. I mean, because listen, I don't know what he's going to do, but at the prices that someone like Kyler Murray is at now, you can almost make a similar argument about Mahomes, right? Because the upside is huge on Mahomes, and he's already got a floor in. Murray doesn't have the same floor, obviously, that Mahomes, but his prices are so low by comparison to these guys that have done nothing. You know, Trey Lance is 50 times the price of Kyler Murray. What's Trey Lance ever done? You know, so
and Kyler's good. He just lost DeAndre Hopkins last year, and that was his guy.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler listen, he came into the season with as much hype as anybody as a QB, and look, he didn't do what people thought. But what's to say he doesn't do it this year? And then instead of paying thousands of dollars, you're paying hundreds of dollars.
Well, that card's going to end at about $400 to $450. That's a $450. I bought the BGS 9.5 with the 10 subgrade for $200. That card's going to end around $400, $450. Think about that division, right? Russ is gone.
Yep.
Trey Lance, I mean, everybody loves it, regardless, going up against a rookie quarterback. Doesn't matter. And then you have kind of a hangover, which usually happens with the Super Bowl champs. Odell's not going to be there, right? He has his ACL. Donald. So, that's a favorable division, actually, if you kind of look at it.
I mean, they were the class of that division to begin with anyway, you know, and then the Rams came out. I mean, look, it's a tough division. The Niners were very close. The Rams won the Super Bowl. I think it is.
Seattle just got rid of Russ.
Right, but I think the Rams take a step back. I think the Niners are going to take a step back also because even though their defense is great, you know, I'm not sold on Trey Lance. I know everybody is, but I'm not sold on Trey Lance. And I think Kyler Murray actually takes a step forward this year. And some of the cards that are, you know, available in this auction, they're really cheap. You know, I mean, by comparison. If he doesn't go out there and do anything, they're not quote unquote cheap. But you know, if you're a Mosaic fan, there's a Mosaic purple. You can pull this. I hope I'm not taking any of your stuff away, but there's a Mosaic purple out of 49. So it's out of 49. You could pull the picture up if you like. This is a numbered Mosaic PSA 10. It's $13. I know it's a second year, but just $13. It's pretty nuts. So. You know, you can get his rookies. You can get his select rookie. I think it's $34 it's bid at now. The Optic, there's a PSA 9 for $15. I mean, look, there's some nice Kyler Murray. That's a card that I probably shouldn't have said because you could have bought this one. And then if he starts off 2 or 3-0, that's a card you sell on Whatnot for 4 times what you just bought it for here. So there's definitely opportunities. There's plenty.
Can I be real with you though?
Shoot.
As much as it feels good to make money, guys, let's be straight up. I like to make money on cards, and I like to make money in business. So there's no secret. I do get a lot of fulfillment when we get messages from people like, "Hey, I learned or I listened to X and I applied it here, and I also benefited. I made money here." That's as much, if not more, satisfaction for me because now people, making money changes people's lives. Not just in the physical way, it changes something about you psychologically when you're like, I can do this for myself. It's incredible. So I'm happy people get those deals. I also will say those cards are amazing trade bait. So let's say you have a big card with a big card and someone's on the fence, throwing in cards like that contextually, having those in your inventory that you get cheap that look more valuable than they probably are. I've found a lot of success in that.
I love it. Listen, this is, you know, our last weekend before the NFL season starts. We haven't done a Whatnot show. We'll resume those during the season here. But a lot of people do prop bets and stuff. We try to bring value. I am a Raider fan. I have a play for you guys, right? Not the Raiders winning, not anything like that. It's the Defensive Player of the Year award, right? This is basically, they should name it the Aaron Donald Award because he basically wins it all the time. But with the recent, swinging the helmet craziness that happened with him,
Myles Garrett,
he's not going to get as much vote. And Garrett's there and Bosa's there. I have a long shot play for you guys. If you want to just throw some small amount of money, we're talking about some books have this at plus 4,500, right? So what is that? 45 to 1 on your money, Andrew, for Defensive Player of the Year. Mad Max Crosby. Okay, this is a guy who has a nonstop motor. Came from a small school. Low draft, a free agent. This is a guy who, who is playing for his money, and he had 101 pressures last year. That's a lot of pressures to only have 8 sacks. He's going to have a lot more sacks this year, and the Raiders brought in Chandler Jones, John Jones' brother, to open up the lanes for Max Crosby. I think the guy's double-digit sacks easy, might push 15 to 20 sacks this year and have Defensive Player of the Year type numbers in a division where you're going to need that because he's in that AFC West. He's going to be chasing down Mahomes. He's going to be chasing down Russell Wilson. He's going to be chasing down
three guys that throw a lot too.
A lot of guys throwing it. So, and it's just it's one of those
Defensive
things.
Player of the Year 4,500.
Yeah, plus 4,500 because there's a
Wow.
lot like he's behind players like you name, like Myles Garrett, who's one of the favorites, like Micah Parsons, like Joey Bosa, like Aaron Donald, who's like plus 700.
Donald's not going to win, dude. Donald wanted to retire. Where's his motivation's not to win Defensive Player?
So that you can, if you can take some of the favorites out and throw a long shot money on it, it's just more. I know that player. I watched the game last year. He was this close to sacks like almost every play. Just
Guys,
pressures.
Let me just put it this way. Luca Nation is growing. And don't be surprised if there's a segment called Playing for His Money hosted by Cage Lawyer. Because when this guy says this dude's playing for his money, i.e. Aaron Judge, he talked about Judge playing for his money last year. And look at what he's doing. 50 home runs. It's not even before September.
Yep.
So your playing for the money plays have been so sharp. I want to call you Sniper from Shooter. What's his name?
A shooter. Shooter McGavin?
Shooter. No, Mark Wahlberg. Shooter.
Oh, yeah. Different kind of shooter. I like Shooter McGavin, though.
Shooter McGavin was inaccurate. Mark Wahlberg was insanely accurate.
I'm a shooter. Can I throw one more out there for the Luca Nation guys? I know it's
Who
not.
needs to do mystery boxes at whatnot?
Oh,
not me.
You do it.
No, let's keep going. I pushed it till 9 p.m. We're doing a late night.
I didn't realize. Wow, we're on here a long time, man. We're on here a long time. Go ahead and you do your thing.
No, I want another play.
No,
we want one more.
So you know what's funny, guys? The PWCC auction. There are so many items in this. I mean, just the flash alone for this week and next is currently at 2,957 items.
Nobody wants to buy your Corman Electra Black Refractor PSA 10.
Oh, but you know what's? I have the weekly auction open
10,000.
How much do you love the scroll on the top of the page?
I love it.
That's how I find cards. Like even while we're talking, I'm like, wow, look at that. Is that what's the auto? This just popped up. Somebody got a bit.
Cage likes the UFC cards with the guys with no shirts on.
I listen. I mean, they can't fight with shirts in the UFC. It's kind of the way that it goes. But I mean, I'm watching this and it's amazing stuff. I would be remiss if I didn't mention 2 more things. Pokemon. There are some amazing Pokemon items in this week's. If you are a believer in Pokemon, there is, I would say, at least 2 items I'll mention right now really quick. There's a 99 Pokemon German base set first edition booster box. So it's the first edition, but in German. They made those in different languages. This is a German box in there. It's the first set. There's also the Japanese base set from 1996. So that's the first set. Came out before, obviously, the 1999, English version, first edition. There's 99 Pokemon Japanese base set with the no rarity symbol Hollow Nidoking. PSA 10. These are what's considered the first Pokemon cards. They were like the first release. They're kind of like first edition of the 96 Japanese. On the bottom right, they're missing the rarity symbol. This is one of those things where it is a rarity. They don't come up for auction, and when they do, they're usually not in such great condition. This one happens to be a PSA 10. There's not too many of these out there. Couple cool Pokemon cards just to kind of mention. and round out the weekly auction. The weekly auctions are getting crazy. There's just so much stuff. So much stuff.
The Griffey Rubies.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts? Where do you think it ends?
I don't know.
16.5 right now.
I may bid on it.
We love you, Luca Nation.
I may bid on it myself. I mean, listen, those are cards, they do not come up for sale too often. They're numbered, out of 100, right? I mean, it is one of those cards that, that you very rarely do you even see them available. It's out of 50, actually. I said 100. It's only 50 of them. It's a PSA 8. It's weird. I have not decided whether I'm going to bid on it or not. And the reason for it is, while I love Griffey and I have a small Griffey collection, focused on like the hot gloves primarily because that's the insert that I enjoyed, early on insert. I don't know whether or not his cards have the staying power. You know about him because, I've talked about him and you've heard people talk about him, but I just don't know whether or not the next generation will care about Ken Griffey Jr. I don't know whether he will have the staying power that, other folks will potentially have. And I think you see that in his prices, right? Because even a card like this, Rubies out of 50, right? If it were a basketball one, who do you consider the Griffey? Michael Jordan? LeBron? Kobe?
Griffey never won. Are we doing this right now?
So give me one that never won.
Jerry West.
Okay, so does anybody care about Jerry West now?
People are gonna skewer. Oh,
Yeah,
I would compare Griffey to Barry Sanders.
Okay, that's a good one. And Barry Sanders cards are all a fraction of the price of anybody who's a basketball star.
I know, but dude, I gotta tell you, man, I think we get too caught up in the hype and we don't look big picture. I think Peyton Manning, even like Barry Sanders, I think these guys will correct over time. Or maybe everything else will come down.
Manning's a winner.
It's not that these will go up. Everything else will come down.
A lot of stuff is coming down. No, listen, it's supply and demand, right? And there are some people who collect Barry Sanders. There are some people who collect, who collect Peyton Manning. Not as many as collect Brady, and definitely not as many as collect all these prospects. There are people, if there was a Star Rubies card now for Vlad Guerrero Jr., or Wander Franco, or Julio Rodriguez, it would sell for more than Ken Griffey Jr. It's just the name of the game. Griffey, there's not much he can do now. There's not much he can do to, help his legacy. And he is an icon and a hero to people my age. But, I mean, you hear about him. I know if you go back to earlier episodes, you're like, who cares about Griffey? He never won. He's a nobody. Who cares?
I said that.
And you have gotten a little more of appreciation because everybody who's my age who comes on or collectors come on, they talk about Griffey as somebody who changed the game and somebody who's iconic and the whole deal. And you've sort of come around on Griffey a little, but even still, he's not somebody you're buying. He's not somebody you're putting your investment money into. He doesn't hold any kind of special place for you. And I don't know whether he will. That's the fun thing with baseball and even basketball, football, all these cards, right? Generationally. Talk about that list of GOATs, right? Talk about that list of people that people are going to buy. In baseball, it's Babe Ruth. It's Mickey Mantle. It's Jackie Robinson. The list kind of, Hank Aaron, it kind of dies a little bit after that. Like in the 70s, 80s, Clemente in the 50s. But 60s, 70s, like these recent guys, they don't – go ahead.
Is Mariano Rivera not going to be our Babe Ruth?
No. He's a pitcher and people don't care. He might be our Sandy Koufax. Okay. Do you care about Sandy Koufax? You see what Koufax's cards do by comparison to somebody like Aaron or Clemente, same year. Pales in comparison. People love Koufax, but they don't love him. Our age don't. And I'm not even talking about like you. I'm talking about even me. We didn't hold Koufax in as high a regard.
We're kind of pontificating. I think it's a fascinating discussion. I definitely believe Manning is very underpriced. I really, the more I watch his cards, I think he's going to have a special place in our heart. We love Manning. I think our generation very much loves Manning. I think he was even more liked than Brady when he was playing.
I think in the very beginning when they were playing with one another, I think more people were rooting for Manning to beat Brady.
I'll even go as crazy as I've been fascinated to watch how cheap Eli Manning's gold refractors, Topps Chrome rookies go. And
Eli's he's a different category. Eli, you know who I compare Eli to? Joe Namath. But Namath was a crazy character because Namath was basically a 500 player who had a major win. Right. He pulled off a great win. Eli's basically a 500 player who pulled off 2 wins. Do you think
wins. Do you think Peyton drags him up at all, or you think they have no effect? Like my logic is that Peyton does drag him up because they're always going to be an extra.
I think there's a chance that the two of them are pulled up because of what they're going to continue to do now. Yes, I do. I think that's possible, if not probable.
Luca Nation, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is what happens when you don't get Cage and I talking for a week. We caught back up. Here's an hour marathon episode.
We get everything.
Everything.
A little PWCC, a little Defensive Player of the Year, prop bet. You get a little Alcaraz. I mean, you got a little Gisele Bundchen and Leonardo DiCaprio, which was unintentional. I mean, that was his original, flame there in the beginning.
Is that right? Why do you know pop culture so much, dude? You have problems.
Oh, yeah. That was his first celebrity Vogue. What the hell is Vogue? Like a magazine?
There was a famous celebrity that posted a photo with a young lady, and Cage knew exactly the Bravo show that lady was from. Like, literally. He said,
probably. I know Bravo's the best channel. Let me show you something. You ready?
I know who she. Oh, of course. She's like, you watch Bravo? What are you doing, Cage? Is she there? Are you going to get her?
Look what I brought back for Ian. Check this out.
Did you go get her? Is she?
That's a big ball.
Thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So, as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com. or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.